First of all, Happy New Year from Liberty Rising. I'm sorry if I don't sound super cheery. I'm recording this first thing in the morning. But this is setting out to be a very interesting year, and I wanted to talk about that. Political parties often don't have a supermajority, and even less so the Republican Party, so that can definitely affect how we go about looking at politics. Many people who voted Democrat solely to oppose the Republican Party are fairly concerned right now, thinking that because the Republican Party has a supermajority, something horrific is going to happen to them. However, not all Republicans think the same, but also having a Republican in the White House and a majority in the Congress doesn't mean there isn't any room to influence our government. First of all, there's local governments where we can directly influence the policies being made in our states and local governments. These are actually really important and affect us way more than the federal government ever should. But regardless of the scope of the government or the type of legislation, or even the type of government, as long as there's a democratic element to it, politicians can always be influenced by the threat of losing their re-election. For many of them, it turns out to be a money game because they need money to run advertising the next time they need to campaign, but it all really comes down to the voters. And if they start seeing that no one's going to vote for them, most politicians are going to start changing their minds. Sadly, again, this is because a lot of politicians are playing this money game, but unless they have very strong principles and out of nowhere their constituents change all their principles, most likely a politician is going to listen to their constituents either because they want to represent them or because they fear losing their job. There are still a lot of politicians in the United States that do not respect the US Constitution, their constituents, and their liberty. We at Liberty Rising and the Constitution Party want to change that by getting more constitutionalists elected and also by putting pressure on the politicians that consistently violate our rights. By doing this, minor parties and independents and individuals can influence their government, and since Donald Trump seems more open to dialogue outside of the Republican Party, this is a perfect opportunity for us to make a lasting difference in our government. It's been a while since someone has considered abolishing the income tax, abolishing the IRS, and investigating and possibly abolishing a ton of other federal departments. So if enough Americans are complaining and making it known we would like to see changes within the executive branch, it is entirely possible that that can be done in the next couple years. Now that also means that we have to be very careful, because just like during George Washington's time as president, not all his advisors are going to agree, and there will be people within the government and outside the government who are trying to pressure the administration to centralize even more authority. So that is also a message to the Republicans that you cannot become complacent. You have to let your opinions and voice be known to your representatives and the president during this time. Just because they're registered Republican might not mean that they agree with you on everything. So there's the things we always should be doing. Writing and calling our representatives anytime there's an issue we feel strongly on, so they know where we stand on those issues and how that might affect their re-election in the future, and also getting the word out there that there are other options and creating those other options. We'd like to see more constitutionalists in the government, and that can only happen if there are people running and people that know they're running. So over the next year, I'd like to let more people know who we are and why you should run as a candidate for the Constitution Party. So come 2026, we have more constitutionalists on the ground, and hopefully in 2027 we'll have more constitutionalists representing the people and not just having to threaten career politicians every week when they decide to pass a law that clearly infringes on the Constitution and the liberties of every American. If you're interested in seeing where this is going, please subscribe to this channel, as there's obviously more content to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.